Well, this regime is a shit show. Keone, what were they thinking?
Thinking? You got to stop accusing this administration about thinking.
The amount of energy that it takes to be a racist is insane.
It's too easy, Stacey. The only thing the internet asks you to be most times is don't be homophobic, don't be sexist, don't be racist. How hard
Apparently
is that?
they can't handle it.
Stacey, you got to pull, because I don't know what the hell Trump is doing. Pull a card, because we haven't done that yet. And it's got to be the fool. It's going to be the fool. It has to be the fool.
Oh my God! Who's the psychic now? Well, hello.
Joel, it's wait, we didn't decide. We didn't do the thing where we decide who's open. So we both just stare at each other.
Just another day. It's Wednesday. I mean, it's just another day.
This is also what happens, people, when you decide to do your podcast or webcast at the end of the day.
Yeah,
after you've worked. And Stacey, you know what she does. So she's been talking to people all day. I've been coaching people all day. So we've been talking since this morning, and both of our brains are mush.
That's right.
But you know what?
This is the best time to do a live. This is where people actually are looking for content, right? So
our brains are mush, but I tell you what, as mushy as our brains are, we could not be as incompetent as what we keep continually seeing. And these people who drink the Kool-Aid still are just beyond me. But I watched as much of the State of Embarrassment address as I could watch yesterday. And I was trying to watch a lot of it for The Conversation, which is the political show on Keone Productions at 6 p.m. on the same days as Dear Democracy. And I told them, I said, I don't even know what to ask you guys, because every 5 minutes I tried to watch, my stomach would hurt.
Oh, yeah. I can't even, most days, some days I can do a little bit, but I can't even listen to that man's voice. I can't watch, because it's nothing but lies. It's gaslighting. I have a hard time watching any of them, quite frankly. I've been watching Aaron Parnas.
Please don't say Aaron Hernandez.
No. I forget what I'm mispronouncing his name, but anyway, I've been enjoying getting highlights through him, because then I don't have to watch all the clips and whatever. Like, he watches it and then he, dissects what's sort of transpired. But like, when you say your stomach hurts, I totally get you. My stomach hurts, my skin crawls, my head just goes, I'm just like, oh.
It's not just the lies, ladies, blatant lies. But the only reason why I try to watch the clips, even though I watch commentary, I try to watch myself, because again, it doesn't matter left or right. People are still going to explain those clips in whatever narrative, whether it be truthful or not, that they're going to view it in. So right. I can't be a person who wants to argue with people in opposition of me if I only hear my side. But sometimes it's hard to hear. And you know what? It's been easy for me my entire life to listen to the other side until him.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been able to have conversations with Republican friends. MAGA friends, or the lack thereof now, and Republican friends are not in the same ballpark.
Yeah. I was having a conversation. Well, I've had this conversation with a number of people actually just over the last few months, and mostly my therapist, quite honestly. But I had the conversation again with a client today. They brought it up.
You see a therapist?
What's that?
You see a therapist? I
Hell
would
yeah.
never see a therapist, and that's why I'm the president of the United. My brain is the same brain of an 18-year-old. I took a physical, and it's the doctor said you have the brain of a supercomputer. I can't do the Trump voice, but I can tell you what the
No,
hell he
that's
would say.
I'm picking up a little bit of it in there. I'm kind of glad you can't do the Trump voice because then I'd be triggered. I'd be triggered as hell. But yeah, I was having a conversation with a client who brought it up, and I said, "Yeah, I get it. I mean, I have some Republican friends, and I just I whereas I used to be able to engage in conversation and really ask them, like I would ask why, tell me why you feel this way and why you feel that way, and it helps to expand your mind. Right
Mhm.
now, I'm like, anyone who has seen what is going on and still stands up for that and supports that, there's nothing that we have in
I don't
common.
think those are Republicans. Like I said, my
Yeah,
Republican
mega.
friends are still my Republican friends. I have many Republican friends. Well, Dave is well, he's changed since Trump, but he's not a
Sure.
Democrat either. But Dave was his whole life was a Republican. I have Republican friends. They don't like MAGA people. Like
Right.
so,
That's I
when
guess you're
they're
right,
having
that's the difference. It's MAGA, not necessarily that every Republican is a MAGA. My therapist tells me that all the time.
yeah, so it's just the blatant lies. So it's the lies about things that he says has happened that doesn't hasn't happened,
Right.
and then the promises of things that are going to happen that are never going to happen. It's just it's.
And the out and out denial of things that have happened that are completely fucking wrong.
I love the bubbly one of people come up to me, and we did a lot of losing, and they said we've been winning so much, so much. They say to me, Mr. President, stop it. We're winning too much, and you're gonna win some more. You're gonna win a lot. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, he's just talking out of his ass because he yeah. I mean, there is nothing, even when that man had his full brain in his head for entertainment purposes only, he still didn't make any sense with what he was saying, but people just put up with it because it was a persona. I think that's the biggest challenge for me, is that people don't see through this individual's persona. What they see is this character that was created, and they've bought into it, and now he's bought into it hook, line, and sinker at a time when, in my opinion, he's got an illness that is
But
causing him to loop out.
he's always, this is the problem. And Dave says he has dementia. You said he has an illness, and all those things are true. But the problem is people who didn't pay attention to Donald Trump until he ran for president or until Celebrity Apprentice are one thing. The people like me who have paid attention to him since the 80s are not
Yes.
surprised. He
Yes, I
ruined the
knew well
USFL.
before he got into
Yeah,
politics. I
he
was like,
ruined
that
it.
man
No.
is not good. Like, don't trust your girls around him. Don't be in a room alone with that man. I knew right away. I was like, there is not something. And I'm, because we're on YouTube and I don't want us to go to YouTube jail, I'm not going to say what I knew then he was, that it's starting to come out now that he is, and there's proof. And I'm always shocked at how people are shocked by this.
Yeah, it's the ones that, oh my God, I changed my mind. What did I do? It's like, what did you think he was going to do? Well, I didn't know he was going to mass deport people. How did you not know that? He said it.
He said it. He's done all those
He
things.
said it a bunch of times.
Everybody accuses him of, not doing the things that he said. I want to say it's selection, right? Like, he's
Hmm.
selected the things, and the things that he told us that he kind of campaigned on, not in a campaign way, but in a hatred speech and, knocking people down way. All of those things he's absolutely lived up to, because that's who he is. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's an anarchist. He's everything.
Hmm.
He's all the bad things. He's a
And
psychopath.
he's surrounded by a bunch of morons.
He has surrounded
I hate
himself
to
around.
call people who have gone out and worked hard to get an education morons, but I mean, let's call a thing a thing. Pat Bondi, your favorite person, your best friend there.
Mm.
Um,
I
watching
have a
her
lot of
Senate
best friends
hearings,
in that regime.
watching her Senate hearings is like stabbing yourself in the eardrum with a pitchfork.
Yeah, it was awful.
Um, cannot answer any questions, divert all questions. I love the snapshot of where they showed her folder where she had all of the congressmen that were going to ask questions in their internet search histories on there. Um, but the most troubling thing about her last hearing was when they had some Epstein victims in the room. I could count from the clip at least. I'm trying to repicture it in my
I
head.
think there were 9.
About yeah, it was anywhere between 9 to 12 people because they wore the distinctive T-shirts,
Hmm.
and that center asked, "If you were an Epstein victim, please stand up." And all those people stood up, right? And "You said, raise your hand if you have reached out to the State Department so that you can be heard." They all raised their hand. Raise your hand if you were reached out. No hands went up. Raise your hand if you've reached out again and still weren't reached out. I'm paraphrasing, and no one put their hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's terrible.
She wouldn't even
Why?
look at them. She wouldn't
No, she
even turn
wouldn't even
around
look
and
at
look
them.
at them or acknowledge them. That's one of
No.
the worst things that you can do to a victim or a survivor of something is to not acknowledge them. They already have been called liars and, frauds and, all the things in the stuff. Now it's coming out that no, they were right and it was wrong of everyone else to not believe in them. And, speaking as someone who has been a survivor of those types of things, it's very difficult when someone doesn't believe you.
Oh,
It takes everything you have in that moment to share that information with someone. And when you're not believed or when you are dismissed, I mean, it just exacerbates the very crime that was precipitated upon you. And I know she did it on purpose. I mean, there was strategy to all of that. I don't think that woman has uh, like a shame meter in her body. I don't think she's capable of
well, she
shame.
said we shouldn't be talking about that. The Dow Jones is up, the S&P and up. We should thank the president. I lived in Florida when the things happened in, I think it was '08 or something, first with Epstein. And you got to remember when he got that sweet deal,
Yeah.
very, very sweet deal in Florida. Who was the attorney general? Do you
I
know
don't
who?
know.
It was Pat
Mary.
Mike.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Of Florida? Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, there you go. It's 6 degrees of separation. What's that? 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or
I think
something years ago that they had
it.
this whole thing. I mean, that's what this is with this regime. Everybody is connected to this in some way, shape, or form. So that doesn't surprise me.
And
Wow.
I want to make sure because that's how I remember it.
You're doing a fact check?
Yeah, yeah. I got my year wrong of when that happened when he got that deal, but it was during that time, 2011 to 2019.
And that was her stint as the attorney general.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wonder how she got that
Because
position.
it was July 6th, so it was July 6th, 2019. Okay, his first criminal sentence was 2006. They had nothing to do with that. I remember that way back when, but it wasn't like didn't know it was this to this extent.
Yeah.
Um, July 6th, 2019 is when he got the deal. When he got okay, yeah, during his 13 months, she was the AG, and she helped usher in that deal he got, and then she went on to work for the president. How did she go from being the AG of Florida and dealing with Epstein, and then 6 months before July 6th, she goes to work for the president?
Yeah. I would not be surprised from a psychic perspective I feel like she's in the files and that she is very likely a not a co-conspirator, but a a woman that was obviously she's um, supporting his nonsense and trying to cover up. So she's complicit in that. But I also feel that she helped to find girls and bring girls into that
Oh,
dynamic. I also feel with her, I also feel with her that she may have had some kind of victimization herself in her younger years. I don't know if that's directly connected, but I'm seeing that
well, it can be. Yeah.
I'm seeing
I could
that
see
there's
the victimization. I could see the aiding um in cover up. I don't want to go so far as to say someone helped find. That's the only thing I
she
don't want
made
to go.
connections. Maybe she
Yeah,
made
she might have.
connections from a
Now,
legal perspective. I don't know, but
yeah,
she definitely made
if I
connections.
want to say this is what I'll agree with you on, and not even thinking of it because I'm not into it like you are. I could see her connecting adults with him, whether she knew what they were going to do or not.
Yeah.
Whether connecting with people because they wanted to get to know him and she knew him or whatever. Um, but the whole like getting the actual you know underage people, I don't know about that part. But
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised though.
and I will tell you, I feel like she made the connection with dear leader before she made the connection with Mr. Easteen.
You know, it could have been. Well, she could have known him because remember she was the AG for a very long time, and Trump, you know, Mar-a-Lago. So she's
Hmm.
probably been down there before.
Hmm.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
We know that. And the one thing you said about victims, I don't want to go into a victim story on me. It's not that show, but as a person that was a victim as a 6 year old, and telling, you think when you tell your own parent, that's the person that's going to believe you, right?
Not always.
And telling the parent who disregarded, did not believe you. So then again, when something like that happens to you at 9, the last person you go and tell
Is
is
that person.
that
Hmm.
parent. So
Yeah.
uh, I can't imagine being a victim of that level. I was a victim in the house, but being the victim of that level, being flown, taken, like some of the horror stories that we're reading from whether they're journals, diaries, or even the unredacted. And let me tell you about the idiocracy of this. So they redacted names and what people believe the names of pretty prominent people, but it didn't redact the names of the victims. So you can
Now,
see all the names of the victims, but not the people who helped victimize or were co-conspirators in the victimization, right?
psychically, that was intentional. That
They
was.
redacted them so poorly that
Mhm.
someone was able to take the file and put it in like Adobe or whatever
And
and
remove the
unredact it,
redacted. Mhm.
which is the
But
height of
but the
idiocracy.
documents that we want to know, they aren't doing that. They aren't stupid
No,
with it now. So they round two, like they showed incompetence, people figured it out. So now round two, they're getting a little smarter about it. But no, there's strategy behind all of this. They released the victims' names on purpose.
yeah,
You can't tell me, oh, it's just
that was an
incompetence. No,
accident.
this
Right.
is sly like a fox, or what's that saying? Dumb like a fox, or whatever it is. Like, no, like there's method to the madness. They're doing it on purpose. And I mean, it's just so blatant. That's the thing that really gets me is that anyone who can still support this man and this regime with a straight face, it doesn't make sense to me because it's all out there. Let's just throw politics out of it for a second. You've got a man who is affiliated with all of these other pedos. Like you said earlier, birds of a feather flock together. Like if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's not a
It's
pizza.
a chicken. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
No, it's
I'm
not a
hungry. I'm
chicken.
hungry. I'm hungry. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a fucking duck, right? Like, come on, people. Use okay, I know a lot of people don't use deductive reasoning or critical thinking anymore. And I know that common sense is always a subjective thing, but come on. Like, come on. What do you need? Go into your heart space as a human being. Let's take it down to the basics. If someone was saying that about you, how would you feel? If someone was saying that to you about you, how would you feel? Like, use that barometer. If someone was trying to do that to you, what would you say? What would you do? How would you feel? You don't have to be a
Uh,
rocket scientist.
you're asking some of the wrong people, because a lot of people, when they see victims, will say stupid things like, I take that back, not stupid things, but they'll say things like, well, I would never put myself in that situation.
Yeah, well, good luck to you then, because I said that when I was a kid. I said
Yeah.
that when I was young. Oh, well, I would do something totally different. And then when I was in the situation, I did exactly whatever it was that I needed to do to resolve that situation. And
Yeah,
I
because
went
it's a
back to
chess
that
game of
conversation when
chess.
I was like 9 or 10. And I remembered saying, oh, if I ever had this situation or that situation, I would behave differently. It's a lot easier to say that until you're, looking down the barrel of a proverbial gun, right?
Because you're playing chess, and sometimes somebody's a chess master and you got outmoved.
Mm-hmm. And from a spiritual
Manipulators.
perspective, we all sign up for different lessons and things, and it's
Mm.
inevitable. You're going to walk that path, and it's not inevitable how it turns out. It's that thing is going to happen, and it's going to happen so that you can make a determination as to how you want to grow from it. And I think that's what is missing with a lot of people is the self-awareness, the understanding that life
Well,
doesn't happen to us. It happens
sometimes,
to us and for us.
well, they say sometimes you can't see the forest from the trees, or however that goes, and sometimes they're in it. Uh, um, um, you can be as strong as you want. There's always somebody stronger. There's manipulators and there's master manipulators.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've been manipulated before, and I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Because I'm good
Yeah.
at catching it, and I was like, whoa, I got outplayed on that one. It
Yeah.
happens. You get outplayed. The problem is, it's one thing when you're an adult. It's another thing when you're a child.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally messed up with that in my personal life because I was raised with a lot of that. I mean, obviously I've grown and, I've got awareness around those things, but you put me in a situation, if I get triggered in any way, shape, or form, if I'm activated, my brain goes into fight or flight and I'm not thinking clearly. And then, coming out the other end of the situation, I'm like, oh, yeah, I walked right into it. I just
Mhm.
walked right into it. Yeah.
One of the beautiful things that I saw in the Idiocracy, and I say beautiful, and I'm being silly on purpose. Did you see the clip where he congratulated the men's hockey team?
No, I could not watch any of that. The second that I saw the clip, oh, you mean when he was on the phone with them, inviting them to? Oh, yes. I saw that. I was completely disgusted.
Yeah.
Like beyond disgusted and disgusted with them as well.
Well, I wasn't disgusted with
How?
them at first, right? And the reason why I wasn't disgusted with them at first is because we've all been in a situation. I'm not saying when we've heard something racist or something like that, or something where we might have giggled in the first instance, and then we like, wait a minute, and you stop. Like, for instance, I remember Don Imus. He was a big time radio host show, and he was talking about the Rutgers females basketball team, and he said, well, them are some nappy headed hoes. And when he said that, me and my coworkers that were listening to the radio at work, we all bust out laughing. And then the laughter kind of turned to awkwardness because we just processed what we heard. We
Right.
thought we heard something funny, and then we processed it.
Yeah.
So I could see, from being playing sports, a bunch of men in there and hearing a person go, oh, no, invite the women's hockey team. Now, I'll give you a pass on that. But then after that happens, and you have time to process what was said, there's only one man on that hockey team that went out and said, oh, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even after the backlash, you still have the time to say, whether it's genuine or not, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
And there
you
were, at
showed,
the last minute, there were 4 other people that backed out. So
yeah,
there were a total of 5 that didn't go, but they
yeah,
didn't express why. They didn't give their
yeah.
reasoning why. They just didn't go.
And then, how do you think the U.S. women's hockey team feels about you being their counterparts? You
Well,
guys practice at
exactly.
the same damn Olympic training facility.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, what is wrong with people? Where is the decency? Where is the respect for another human being?
It's the
I
main
mean,
character.
just because this man has given a certain number of people license to behave in the worst ways of humanity, the basest forms of humanity, doesn't mean that we don't have a choice in whether or not we choose to go down that path or not. I mean, I don't need somebody to tell me what's right and what's wrong. And I don't mean it in a judgy way. I mean it in a like a visceral way. It's just you don't treat people like that. You just don't
Mhm.
treat people like that. And
You don't.
I don't
Mhm.
think I'm that, oh, I'm so wonderful that I'm like the only person on the planet and all high and mighty. It's not about that. There are enough people out there that I shake my head. I don't understand. Now, the hockey team is younger, and I get that too. Youth. I thought a lot of things and had a
Oh,
lot of beliefs in my youth that it took me life experience to kind of figure out what I really felt. But
there weren't a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds now. Come on. I know you're trying. See, but we're both doing that. We're trying to give them. You know why we're doing that? It's because when you have a rational brain, you try to rationalize things. You try to
yeah,
make
it makes
sense
me
of it.
feel very
And
uncomfortable, the idea
yeah,
that people are just mean
some
spirited
of
and
them,
really believe that way.
yeah, and some of them, and I don't believe they all are, but what happens is some people have main character syndrome. They're in that tunnel of what's happening in their life. Hey, I'm getting invited to the White House to get an accommodation. And in that moment, some people aren't thinking of the implications.
Right.
Some people
Well,
aren't thinking of
I
how it
had that thought
affects
too. I
someone
had that
else.
thought too. Like they're all
The
hyped
problem
up with
is,
adrenaline too,
mhm,
Like it could be an adrenaline thing. But at the
and
end of the
that's
day,
the pass.
then undo what you did.
Yeah, and that's the pass I gave them. But now that you've had time to marinate on it, now what are you doing? You
Yeah.
should have stood in solidarity with your counterparts. That's what you should have
Yeah.
did.
They've sullied and dulled that win entirely. They're going to go down in history
Yeah,
for
and
that.
when's the last time they won?
Right.
You
30
know,
years ago or something.
yeah, and it could be 30 more years, and that's the last thing you want us to remember
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you?
They took even that. Like there's nothing, I don't want to say there's nothing that Americans can be proud of right now. I don't mean that at all because there's a lot
Yeah.
that we
Oh,
can be
yeah, that's
proud of.
funny. Yeah.
We are showing up. Well, we
Mhm.
as in the proverbial people are showing up in a lot of ways. But I will say, in a time where we're desperately clinging on to those, small wins and big wins, as far as I'm concerned, the men's hockey team just shat all over it. Like just like I have no sympathy for them. I have no love for them. I'm disgusted. Absolutely disgusted.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the one and the four, so I could. But I don't. Again, it's not an NFL team. I don't know most of the people by name of the characters. I can't even picture the faces except for the one that tweeted out that I keep saying Twitter because that's what it is. That tweeted out that he is not participating. I was just sad that they didn't take a stronger stance. And I don't care. You can say it's because you hate President Trump or whatever you want. Um, I'm gonna say I don't care who the president was. And the thing that pisses me off about happened now, let President Obama have done 5%
Oh God.
of what this man has done.
1% of what this man has done. 1%. Yeah.
But
It's
there's no racism.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
You cannot, and then there's going to be people that'll see clips of us and they'll say, you guys aren't patriotic, anti Americans, leftist lunatics, and all the other names. And
Honestly,
some of
I'm
these,
proud to be a leftist lunatic at this point. I
and
wear
some of
that
these,
proudly.
well, I'm glad that, I'm not, I don't know, I'm not a lunatic, but I know what you mean.
No,
But,
I'm just saying,
and
like,
some
I'll
of
take
those
it back.
people, huh?
I said, I'm just saying, I'll take that back. I'll own that word. If
I've
that's what
been
they're going
called,
to call me, I'm going to be proud to be that. I sure as
I've
hell
been,
wouldn't want to be what they are.
I've been called worse. Um,
Yeah, I
some
get
of
it.
those people ain't served a damn day in the Boy Scouts. I didn't spend 20 years in the army and go to Bosnia and 2 tours in Iraq to hear some jackass tell me I'm not patriotic.
Yeah, yeah, it's irritating for sure.
Yeah.
All right, throw me some psychic stuff. Let's tap into some stuff.
Oh, darn it. You called my bluff. Yeah. Okay, let's see. When connecting intuitively, what stands out the most? The victims, the power structure, or the cover ups? It's a 3 pound question. What stands out the most? The victims, the power structure, or the cover ups?
In what capacity are you asking? Like Epstein only?
That's what
Epstein
we're talking
file?
about. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, and what stands out the most?
Yes, when connecting intuitively, what stands out the most? The victims, the power structure, or the cover ups?
Um, I'm feeling into the power structure simply because it's like they're showing me the umbrella, so to speak, and the victims and the what was the third the people that are
The cover
perpetrating
ups.
the cover-ups fall under the power structure because that's ultimately what it's all about. This is all about power. This is about power and domination. Do I Me as Stacy, as a woman, I think the victims matter the most. But we could answer that question a couple of different ways depending on, how we're looking at the situation. But I mean, they're all important, they all matter, and they all are intrinsically tied together. But to answer your question, I'm getting the power structure because it's the power structure that actually needs to be dissipated. It needs to be disbanded. That's the biggest problem. Is when that is being allowed, when that is being nurtured and fostered, then we run into these problems where suddenly there's the haves and the have-nots, rather than looking at it from we need to protect everyone because we're all one. We're all part of, we all live on the same planet. We all need the same, excuse me, the same basic things. We all need to eat. We all need a roof over our heads, a safe place to live. And we all need people in our lives that are safe to be around in order for us to nurture and thrive and grow.
Ooh, I'm not going to say I like, it feels weird when I say I like this one. I like the question. I don't like why we have to ask these questions. But what emotional signatures or trauma imprints do you sense connected to the victims?
This is a tricky one that you're asking me. So I'm just going to give you the words that are coming to my mind. I'm seeing shame. I'm seeing bias. People, being bias, being chosen out of a bias. You don't need to be psychic to know that these girls were chosen specifically because they were underprivileged or emotionally abused, physically abused. A lot of these kids didn't have a home, certainly didn't have a foundational structure, a decent foundational structure of a home. So, they were easy targets from that perspective. And what I keep seeing with all of them is almost like this branding, like an invisible branding that comes out. We have those black lights. You shine a black light, and all of a sudden, things that you couldn't see, now suddenly you're seeing them. I'm feeling, when you say imprint, that's what I'm seeing, is each of them has this brand that they wear, they carry around. It's heartbreaking. And many of them, I feel that it's here. It's from stem to stern. As they say, it's the sacral chakra all the way up into the heart. And this was where, this is our core. This is where we access our true essence. This is where our soul resides, where our physical heart resides, but also just the heart that we talk about, the love. And that was desecrated every single time. And so there's this branding, this individual branding. I'm being shown that each victim has a different symbol, a different brand, because these are the things that it hits us differently, right? We all have a different experience from, you can be victimized by the same man. Three women can be victimized by the same man and have three different experiences and three different reactions, because we're all so different internally. So I don't know if that's answering your question at all. It's a bit of a tricky question to kind of
Yeah,
land.
yeah. Don't say that part. No, it's not it. The whole thing is tricky, and you can only see and feel what you see and feel. And one of the things that's hard to do, and I don't care if you're doing it emotionally because you're empathetic, or if you're an intuitive, trying to tune in these type of things is just not easy. It's also scary because you don't know what's going to pop up
That's
in your
true.
mind or in your space, or what energy is going to come out. So we're going to do this last one right here. What symbols or archetypes appear when you ask the cards about accountability?
I'm getting an X with a big circle around it. Not an X marks the spot, more like do not enter. The card that I pulled is the judgment card. That makes a lot of
Oh,
sense.
geez.
So, I wish I could say judgment will be swift. It will not be swift. It has not been swift. But I feel that now that the information is out there, we are already seeing it actually in other countries being swift with their investigations and arrests and things like that. Our country right now here in the US is in major crisis. So, and we understand the corruption goes, through every freaking level. So that's why, there's no investigations that are occurring. And, I hate to admit it, but it's not just this regime. It's been, previous administrations who also shoved this under the rug. And I'm very disappointed, to see and hear all of that as well. But when you ask about an archetype, it's the angel who says, okay, I'm trumpeting the call. You can rise from the dead and start something new, or you can take one more kick at the can. It's up to you. Only you have the choice. Only you have the option. No one's going to force you to do this. We have to choose as a people, as a species. We have to choose. Do we choose to remain in isolation and individualism and selfishness and self-centeredness, or do we rise to the occasion and say, I am a part of this great cosmos. I am, but one grain of sand on the whole beach, and we all live and work together, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that we all have to be in harmony, but we can definitely be respectful of each other's existences and do our best not to infringe upon another's existence. So judgment, let's pull another one just to see. Ten of Torches. So 10 of Wands, rewards and the burdens that go with them. It is time for us to, remove the burdens that these women have carried for so long, and to place those burdens where they belong, and from a psychic perspective, I don't see anything happening in the next 2 years here in the US that is actually going to amount to much of anything with this. But I want to say maybe towards the end of 2027 and into 2028, we are going to see some major, picking up the baton, so to speak, removing these burdens from the women. I do see a lot of jail time for a number of people that are named on the list. Unfortunately, the biggest perpetrators are not, they're not a part of that. And that's unfortunate. I just got a hit that Ghislaine Maxwell will not be around in 2027 and into 2028. I feel like, she will not be around. Now, the feeling I have is that she will not be any longer on this mortal coil, but it could also be that she gets out of jail and she gets the hell out of Dodge, or out of prison, I should say, not jail, prison. And she gets the hell out of Dodge. Because the second she has the opportunity to get out, she's going to take it and we'll never see her again. She'll go somewhere that, no extradition, and she'll disappear, kind of thing, because she's still, as far as I understand, she's still got some money to be able to do that. But yeah, this is really what needs to happen. The wrong people have been carrying so much, and it's time for them to lay down their burden. It's time for somebody else to pick up the sticks and walk up the damn fucking hill. All right, we'll pull one more for this. Oh my God, you can't make this shit up. Justice. So this is definitely an archetype. This is definitely something that is going to come through the people. It's not going to come through the justice system directly. It's going to come because the people demand the justice system to step up and do what it needs to do. I'm speaking of the Supreme Court at this time. The state judges and things like that are holding. I feel like that's still going to work. That's the only thing. That's the only part of the system that is still hanging on and for the most part doing what it needs to do. This is the Supreme Court. And you didn't ask me this question, but I'm getting that when I tap into the Supreme Court, I'm seeing that there's going to be some major judgment on this Supreme Court. At least 3 judges are going to be removed, or how people, it's like you have a choice. We're either going to fire your ass and rake you through the coals, or you're going to resign. And I'm feeling some energy around that. And I feel also like the Supreme Court is going to be expanded somehow. And there's going to be a check and a balance on them as well. That's going to be an independent source. And I feel that someone on the Supreme Court is going to serve jail time and is likely going to die in prison. You got your hands on your head. Uh-oh. I can see your face from behind, but I can't see you on the screen.
No, I was doing something else. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I was doing something else.
I just saw you go like this, and I was like, what did I say now?
No. You didn't.
What did I do now?
You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything but be you. And I didn't do anything but be me. And sometimes when I'm being me, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. If you have questions and things you would like us to talk about and tune in to dive in intuitively for Dear Democracy, please make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe. You see the hot button pop up. Make sure you hit that hype button. Also, Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, for this Black Feather Couture Divining VIP Life, is going to start doing some special content coming up in the future for members. So join membership There's going to be a lot of perks given for each membership. So go ahead and read those perks yourselves and find out what you can get as a perk from becoming a member on the Black Feather Intuitive. Thank you guys for tuning in for Dear Democracy today. I'm Keone.
And I'm Stacy, and let's just do this wild ride called life together. Let's support one another, and we'll see you on the flip side.